Hey developers, welcome back to my channel. Today we dive into Jetpack Compose and Kotlin Multiplatform to learn a picket pattern by building a color picker app. We'll explore how to manage state efficiently using the state hoisting pattern. So if you're ready to level up your Compose skills, stick around. So in this tutorial, we'll create the color picker app where the user can select the color from a list, and the selected color will be displayed on the main screen as a colored square along with the name. Of course, these data can be anything you need. We are just using the color as an example for the picker pattern. As I mentioned, we will be using the state hoisting approach to manage shared state between our screens. This method keeps our composables decoupled and promotes a very clean architecture. We will cover a couple of things in this video. We will start by understanding the state hosting pattern and its benefits. We will build the navigation using this state hosting, and then we will discuss why this approach is beneficial. So let's jump right into it. Before we dive into coding, let's talk about the state hosting. State hostings involve moving the state up to a common ancestor so that it can be shared among multiple composables. In our case, we'll host the state to the nav host. The benefits we get of using state hosting is decoupled composables, screens remain independent and reusable, simplified state management, we centralize the shared data, making it easier to manage, improved testability, composables can be tested in isolation. Best practices alignment is follow the unidirectional data flow, a core principles in Jetpack Compose. It's also platform agnostic, ideal for Kotlin Multiplatform project since it doesn't rely on any platform specific features. The first thing we have to do is to make sure that we have a Kotlin Multiplatform project set up with Jetpack Compose and the navigation component. So in your build grader file, ensure you have the necessary dependencies. I'm using the new navigation component from JetBrains version 2.8.0 alpha 10. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to create our data class that we will be working with. We'll call it ColorItem. It will contain the name of the color and the actual color. Then let's create the main screen. Nothing tricky here as well. The key here is that we will have a couple of callbacks. We will have one callback to open the picker screen. We will also have a callback to clear the picked color or the selected color. And then of course we need to have a parameter for the picked color. This one can of course be optional since we might not have picked the color yet. The screen itself will be quite straightforward. We have a column and we center a couple of components in this column. The first option is if we have a color picked, we will show a square with this color and the text with the color name. We will also have two buttons, one button for clearing the color and one button for selecting a new color. If we don't have a picked color, we want to have a button allowing the user to pick the color. The next thing for us is to create the ColorPickerScreen. We're keeping it simple here. We will just have a composable function showing a list of color items. The list will be a lazy column. The function have a callback, so when the user click on one of the list item, we will call to this color back so that we can pick up which color the user picked at. Remember, these code examples are written for simplicity so that it's easy to understand. They may not always follow the best practices when it comes to architecture and so on. The list item we will create is just a simple list item. We will show the color and the name of the color. And then we can call that ColorOption compose function for each item in the color list. And then our list is ready. Then we create the AppNavigation class. This is where we will do all the magic with the state that we hoisted. We need to have two. Remember, we have one for nav controller, just like usually when we do navigation. But we will also need our hoisted state. In this case, we call it picked color, and it's a remember of a mutable state of the type ColorItem, which of course should be optional because we might not have a color yet. The default value is null. Remember, we have to import the get and set value. Then we have the nav host. We send in the nav controller. We set the start destination to MainScreen, and then we start by adding the composable for the main screen. We send in the open color picker callback. From this one, we will actually navigate using the nav controller to the picker screen, the color picker screen. We also have the callback on clear color. This one will just set picked color to null. And then we also should send in the picked color. And there we have the first composable to the main screen. The second one is to the ColorPickerScreen. Set the start destination to ColorPickerScreen so that we can find it. And then we just call our ColorPickerScreen compose function. And the only thing there is to send in the callback, which will give us the picked color. And here comes a little bit of the magic. We are now just updating the picked color with the picked color, and then we pop the backstack. The only thing left now is to call our AppNavigation from the app file, and now we can run and see how it works. Let's start with Android. As we can see, no color is selected, and we select green to start with. We select orange, and we can see both the name and the colors. Let's run it on iOS, and we can see that it works just fine on iOS as well as on Android. Thanks for watching my video today, and hopefully you found this helpful. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy coding!